Hey! What's up, my top 5 favorite listeners? My name is Kyle Koller, and this is Kyle's top 5 favorite podcast. I hope everyone had a wonderful Easter. I am recording this on Easter, and I hope you guys all had fun. If you spent time with your families, hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoyed the weather. It was beautiful today, at least where I was. With Easter, it also begins the beginning of the baseball season. And it's cool, man. It's a very cool thing. I love the fact that baseball goes on. Do I watch every game? Do I watch any of the games? Very rarely. But just the fact that it happens, and kind of throughout the year, you'll go and see one game, and it's a great time. It's kind of the signs of summer, and summer is great. Summer is great for so many reasons. We've survived the winter, and baseball kind of is that last. All right, we're on our way to summer. It's time. Let's have some fun. So I figured, why not talk about my top 5 favorite baseball movies? So I have a pretty good list. I want to talk a little bit about why baseball movies are so great, what makes baseball such a great sport that people love making movies about them, and that people like watching movies about baseball. What's gone on with baseball lately? Why is it that baseball is hurting as much as it is right now? And a couple of ideas that I have that could change that, as well as the list of my top 5 favorite baseball movies, which I'm going to get into right now. My number 5 favorite baseball movie is one that most of you may not have seen. If you have, then you know that this is a great film. This was also a really hard list to put together. The hardest one to for me was the number 5 spot, because I knew what I wanted my top 4 to be. I didn't know what order to put them in. Once I figured that out, I still couldn't figure out the number 5 spot, because there were so many great movies to choose from. But the one that I came up with at number 5 was 8 Men Out. 8 Men Out was a movie that came out in 1988, so it was a little bit before my time, but I still know it and still have seen it. I've seen it every time. Anytime it's on TV, I always end up watching it. It's one of those movies. It's a movie about the 1919 World Series, where a bunch of ball players threw the series to gamble and to make some money. And it's kind of a period piece movie, so, it's all old. It looks old. They did a great job of that, making it look old, and the old uniforms and trains and locker rooms, and the way that they did everything was really well done, and that's a hard thing to pull off, and they did it well. Charlie Sheen is in this movie. John Cusack is in this movie. A lot of celebrities you recognize are in this movie, and the acting is incredible. The story is phenomenal. Very easy movie to follow along with. And just is super well done. I think the reason that this movie is a little bit groundbreaking, the reason that I put it on the list, is because it was the first time that baseball really showed kind of an evil, dark side. When you saw the Chicago, they called them the Black Sox because of what they did. They threw the World Series, lost it in a Game 7, I think, to the Cincinnati Reds. And it was the first time that sports in America had been corrupt like that. And the way that it went down and how they infiltrated that team and made it happen was so good and so well done. It's a great film. So number 5 is 8 Man Out. Number 4 is also a period piece, but kind of on the lighter side. And that is A League of Their Own. A League of Their Own is just a great film. The cast of characters with Gina Davis and Lori Petty and Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna, and all these great women carrying this movie. And then Tom Hanks comes in like a force to be reckoned with in that film. Man, he was so good. He's the one. There's no crying in baseball. And he plays just the drunk who can't believe he's managing women's baseball. It does have a little bit of a heavy side because it's kind of based backdrop with the end of World War II. So it's a little bit based in the 1940s, and again, they do a great job with the cinematography and the costume direction and everything like that, to where you're completely in it and you never get taken out of it. The music is cool. Penny Marshall does a phenomenal job directing it. And it's another one of those movies where if it's on, I'm watching it. It's so good, so cute, and yet so real in its the way that it's done. So those two movies are 8 Men Out in a League of Their Own, are kind of based loosely on some true story. They're based on true stories. The next movie at my number 3 spot is a movie that is completely fictitious and kind of has this other side of baseball, which is there's no team at the core of it. There's no franchise. It's just a family, and that is A Field of Dreams. This was kind of Kevin Costner's, I think, his greatest movie he's ever done. It is a movie, and Kevin Costner is he's done a lot of great baseball movies. You think of Bull Durham, and you think of a couple others. But Field of Dreams, that movie hits the mystique, the magic that baseball has, with him needing to build this baseball stadium in his farm and playing ball with his dad at the end. Oh, such a riveting movie, such a great film, incredibly well done. And that's one thing I want to talk about a little bit about baseball is what is it about baseball that kind of does that? There's something magical about our opinions, our nostalgia that we have for baseball. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's got this Americana summer vibe where everybody feels like the world is theirs. And when you have longer days and you have people outside and the 4th of July and there's something so magical about that, you can't deny it. Also, baseball is America's pastime. It's the sport that's kind of grown with the country. We have just fallen in love with it and been in love with it for, I think, 150 years. It's just been our sport. And so that whole thing makes for great film. And a movie like Field of Dreams does a great job kind of encompassing that. Baseball's taken it in the shorts a little bit lately because of, the same way that all of sports has, in the sense that, you got these millionaires who are completely disconnected from everyday person. And then baseball really took it hard with steroids. When that whole thing happened, that was just hard. That was a hard thing for them to overcome, and they're still having a hard time with it. And also, I think baseball's gotten a little bit disconnected in the sense that, you used to be able to go to a ball game for $12 and you would pay $4 for a beer and $6 for a hot dog and you'd hang out all day. Now, going to a ball game, you're spending $100 that day per person between parking and tickets and $12 for a beer and, $10 for a bag of peanuts. And it's really difficult now for the average Joe to just go to a ball game. And I think that hurts the sport a lot. And that's what is great about my number 2 movie. It was this one. Major League is a movie that kind of separated itself with the rest of them because what's the word I'm looking for? Because it was the movie that really was about a franchise and about how money made sports real shitty. And, you had guys who were, old and has-beens or never was. And, they were actually out there playing, and they actually became a team to take on the big Yankees and all these other teams to go to the playoffs and win the pennant and all that stuff. It's a great film. Another Charlie Sheen one, by the way. And the interesting thing about Major League is it's really funny and really well done. And that's what I think anything I've ever read in any old pro says, yeah, Major League's a lot like that. That's how a lot of the guys act, and that's how they are. They're very goofy in the locker room and in the dugout, and tensions get hot, and you got a bunch of alpha dogs competing in the heat of the summer. It's really funny, really well done, great lines, too high, and so many great moments in those films. It's an everyman movie. But I think it's the last. They're not going to ever. The next time they make a timely movie about baseball, it'll be a reflection on the steroid era. But this is kind of pre that, and yet still Major League Baseball was having a hard time, but they made the most of it. Major League is a great film. I highly recommend checking that one out if you haven't. I don't know. I think it's everywhere and on Netflix and all that stuff. Now, we've talked a lot about baseball movies. Talked about what makes them great, why we love them, the nostalgia behind them. And there's one movie that stands above the rest. And before I give that movie, I want to go over a couple of other great films to talk really quick. Pride of the Yankees, great film. The Natural, great movie. Moneyball, Fever Pitch, For Love of the Game, Rookie of the Year. These are great movies. All of them deserve to be on some list, but I had to narrow mine down to the top 5. I've gone through all the other numbers, but ladies and gentlemen, my number 1 movie, The Sandlot. That's the greatest baseball movie of all time because it does a wonderful job of embodying the childish nostalgia that we have with baseball. There's something about 8 or 9 buddies playing ball in the back, growing up, jumping fences, falling in love with the lifeguard, talking shit in a treehouse when you're a little kid. That's used to be a part of growing up. And I think that movie was the one that really brought that out. You didn't beat each other up. You played baseball. You didn't. You got in a fight with the crosstown team. You played it out. You put it out on the field. You play ball like a girl. Great lines in that movie. It's a great summer film. You think about that scene when Benny the Jet Rodriguez hits that home run underneath the fireworks when Ray Charles is singing Sweet America. Beautiful moment in film. It's a beautiful, wonderful movie, incredibly well done. Really does a great job of kind of embodying all the things we love about the game of baseball. So that's it. Those are my top 5 favorite baseball movies. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. This is Kyle's Top 5 Favorite Podcast. See you next time.